This. So Fragrance World released 2 new additions to their coffee collection, which is fantastic, and that is Double Espresso and Affogato. Now, if you missed that video, there's 5 in the coffee collection and then the 2 new ones, which is 7. I'll put a link up there if you want to go check out the review of those. I honestly recommend that you do that because these are going to be compared to those. Let's start off with Affogato. You know, like this is supposed to smell like an Italian dessert, right? I think it's like you take espresso, you pour it over some gelato or ice cream, and that's what you get. So we'll give this one a good spray in the air here. The atomizers are pretty nice. They're fine mist. We'll do one on the arm. I mean, so right off, this is very sweet. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the sweetest fragrances that I have ever smelled. Yeah, it's very sweet. You get a little bit of toffee in there, which I do like. It's a little spicy with some cinnamon, a very caramelly smell. It's honestly not too heavy on espresso or coffee. Now I'm gonna compare this. This is Affogato. I wanna say Affogato so bad, but I know it's a ta. Affogato. This smells the most similar to caramel macchiato in the line. They're both very sweet. They both don't have a strong coffee smell to them. Now, I want to compare though. I'm going to spray caramel macchiato in the air. I don't want to spray it on me. I don't have enough skin for all this. All right, there we go. So right off, first impressions, I like caramel macchiato better than Affogato. It just smells better. The caramel note's better. This one, I don't know, it's not doing it for me. I'm not getting like an ice cream. You do get a toffee, not a coffee. You get a toffee note. Well, there's some coffee too. You get a toffee note in Affogato that's not bad, but out of all 7, it's one of my least favorites because caramel macchiato wasn't even up there. This is a lighter version of caramel macchiato with like just depth taken away. If I had to compare this to another fragrance, this is probably similar to Mancera's Amore Cafe, which smells like amazing espresso drizzled over ice cream. It's like the same thing, right? Mancera's is way better, yet it's way more expensive. What, like $100, maybe $120 to $150. This comes in at about $40, but I don't know. It's not nearly as good as the Mancera's. It's not as good as the caramel macchiato. I don't know. Not too into it. If you like very sweet fragrances, I mean, it's worth checking out. If you have the rest of the collection, I don't think it's redundant. You know, I mean, I had to have it. I love this coffee collection by Fragrance World. The projection and the longevity of both of these is really good, especially for the price. I'd say moderate to strong. They're both very unisex. This one might lean a little bit more feminine, but it's just because it's so insanely sweet. It's ridiculous sweet. It must be that ethyl maltol whipping through the base, right? I don't know what I'm talking about, but he does. Apparently, they used a little bit too much ethyl maltol, in my opinion. Now, let's get on to the next one, and I'm a little bit excited about this because this one is really good. This is Double Espresso. I'm gonna say this right off. This, it's my favorite in the line. It's like tied for first, it really is. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, all of these fragrances by Fragrance World, all the coffee collection to me, have a Middle Eastern vibe, which you'd expect, and that's great, and they're very good. Overall, they're very good for the $40, 100 ml price range, but this is what I've been waiting for. This Double Espresso smells like an American cup of black coffee with maybe a little bit sugar added in. It's not super bitter, but it's really good. It's what I wanted. It's not acrid bitter though. Now the closest one in the collection that I can compare it to is probably Kawa. Kawa's really good. Kawa was my favorite. It smells awesome. It smells like a nice cup of fancy Joe. Really, really nice. Really, it's a little sweet. It's very good, but it's definitely stylized. It's not something, if you're in America or the US, you grew up, you know, smelling your dad spilling boiling hot coffee on you in the morning as he's watching sports. It doesn't smell like that. This does. This brings back those memories of my back being scalded by a cup of black coffee as my dad finished his second pot for the morning. So what we're gonna do, let's spray this on the second arm here. This one's really nice. Once again, fine mist atomizer. I'm breathing it in. Doesn't taste like coffee, I'll tell you that. So right off, this one's really nice. I really enjoy this. This, to me, is not redundant, and you should buy it in the line. If you like coffee fragrances, this is a must. If you don't have any of these fragrances, and you're looking for like that American cup of coffee, This is the closest one. This is a must buy. I think this is a must buy for a coffee fragrance enthusiast. I do want to talk about it a little bit though. The projection, the longevity is great, just like with all of them. This one's very unisex, but of course I'd wear this in cooler weather. You do get a little bit of patchouli in this one I'm picking up, and it's almost like an amber. It's really nice. It's not overly sweet, but it's a little bit sweet where it takes away from, I feel like some black coffee fragrances can be very strong, almost like acrid or sour. This doesn't have that to me. This is like perfect. The sweetness in this is balanced perfect. Now here's the thing. If you have Kawa, they definitely have the same accord. You can smell the same accord that Double Espresso has in Kawa. That's not bad though, because I love Kawa. This is almost like, I don't want to say a dumbed down version, but it's like a less fancy version. It's less sweet, and it's that base chord, and it's just really pleasant. So if you already have Kawa, you might not be impressed with this. Me personally, I don't think they're redundant. Now, out of all the coffee fragrances I've smelled in my journey, which has been a lot of them, and I'm still searching for the perfect coffee fragrance, the only one that's close to this as far as smell is probably the one by Acro. What is it? Is it Rise? I don't know which one it is. I think it's Awake. It's either Rise or Awake. I get them confused, right? But that probably is the closest I've smelled to this. They smell pretty similar. I haven't tested them side by side yet. I should have done that. I should have prepared that for the video. Why don't you remind me, Francis, at all? I will compare those though, and I want to see which one I like better. I mean, probably Acro, right? Higher price tag, you know, just way more in depth, but it's probably gonna be the Acro. That being said, if you can't afford that, this one to me is a really good alternative. Now, this doesn't smell like kerosene follow or followed. I don't think Acro, Awake, we're gonna say it's Awake. It could be Rise, but that doesn't smell like those either. This is the closest to the Acro. I really enjoy this. Once again, $40. But overall, yeah, I think these fragrances are really good. This one on its own, I don't know. Maybe I gotta let it macerate a little bit. This one's missing the mark for me. Way too sweet, just overly sweet ice cream. I don't know, I don't like it. No coffee. I do prefer caramel macchiato, better than that one. Double Espresso is a win in my book. I would give it, like, for what it is and the price, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a really good coffee smelling fragrance. I think anybody that likes the smell or scent of coffee, espresso, a cup of chai will probably love this fragrance. But there you have it. Now, if you do want to get samples of these, I will have them available on the Fragrance Channel Decants. You can check that out. Put some links below. You don't have to. But thank you for stopping by. My name is Ryan, and this is the Fragrance Channel. Man, I'm just looking for the perfect coffee fragrance, and I can't find it. This one's getting close. These are getting close. I wish I could make my own. I wish I could hire a top-tier perfumer and take his by the ears and just like dunk him in my perfectly crafted cup of coffee and then tell him to create that. That's what I want to do. You know, there might be some donut crumbs floating in there, but you never know. I'm a dunker, all right? I know some of you aren't, but I am. Oh, you guessed it, huh? Oh, that's funny. You know what? Turn this off.